Any other comments from the public? If you could please raise your hand. State your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Patrick Duff. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit because this mask is very difficult to talk through. Originally 812 Chester Avenue. It was 249 Chester Avenue when I first moved in. That tells you how long ago it was. Chester Avenue, that was a 200 block, 1 block from here. I started a little fire in the garage when I was like 10 years old, and they couldn't find the house, so we changed it to 812 Chester Avenue. That's how long I've lived here in Delran. Know every inch of the street, walked up and down it hundreds of times, really care about this town, have family that still live here, right?
Just for the record, your name and address, please.
Patrick Duff. I'm a Haddon Heights resident. Rather not state the address because I've actually had threats.
That's fine. That's fine.
I've actually had threats, physical threats against me. Somebody told me they're going to shoot me if I didn't stay offline for trying to do an investigation into the finances of the Carly Lloyd event. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that a real nice thing? Called the Burlington County Sheriff. They're now investigating it, by the way. So people wonder why I'm doing this. Why are you investigating this town and looking into this town? First, let me tell you that 14 weeks ago, I found out I had cancer. For the last 4 years, I thought I had diverticulitis, but 14 weeks ago, I found I had cancer. Found out I had a perforation in it. It was leaking in my body. It was killing me. I was dying. I was about 2 months away from dying, being dead. This perforated tumor that was in my body was sitting there in my body, basically killing me for years, and nobody knew it because nobody looked. And that's what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at your finances to see where these go. If there's a tumor that needs to be removed from your town. And I can tell you that the tumor that was removed from me was 10 inches long 13 months ago, and I'm alive today because they did it. Thank God. I thank God every day that I can see my son. But I want to leave this world a better place for him in case I cannot make it past the next couple weeks. And the only way to do that is with honest representation for my son. So I chose to pick Delran just to look at a simple financial record of the Carly Lloyd event. It should have been a real easy thing. You should have sent me the financials. All the POs were already cut. Mayor, you said nothing illegal happened. I can tell you that I have proof that there's contracts that show that the video services and the stage services were split purposefully to avoid getting bids. That's illegal. I can show that your company, Center Stage Entertainment, actually solicited quotes from these companies, and that somebody from your company signed for Go events that was owned by one of your relatives and your coworker. That's not legal, sir. To say it's legal, could you explain to me then why you didn't just hire Center Stage Entertainment to do all these events? And you had to go around and hire this Go Events company that you can't even figure out who they are because they're registered in Nevada. It took me a little while, but I found them. So let's just be honest here. The slow perforation of a cancerous tumor in my body was killing me. But the slow perforation of the finances in Delran are making it so the tax structure in this town are unbearable for the citizens. People on Stewart Ave, they didn't get checks to help them with the clean out of their basement. They got a firefighter showing up and their volunteers working their butts off to try to help people. But I can tell you this, that me looking into this is just another town that I've done. Done Point Pleasant Beach, done Philadelphia, done the police system in Philadelphia. Actually changed the 911 system after the 911 calls were made in Philadelphia to that Starbucks. They changed the 911 system because of research I did. So listen, I don't know if it's a one-time thing, Mayor, but you did hire somebody from your company. You did hire your family member. You're the head of the recreation committee. You're the one that signs off. There's no way you can say you didn't know. There's no way that Jeff Hatcher can say he didn't know that Go Events was being signed by Alex Glover, who's an employee of Center Stage Entertainment. That's on your financial disclosure. That's where you work. Man, listen, come clean. Be real. The citizens of your town are not asking that you step down. I'm not asking you to step down, but be real. You insulted me. You said I defamed people. You said I claimed there's coercion and bribery. I never did that. I never said nothing about Carly, bad about Carly. I never said nothing bad about the celebration. I simply asked questions in the finances, was given different answers, and then was put in a public forum and said that I did something that I didn't do. And as I said, 14 weeks ago, I had cancer extracted from my body. I was dying. I have stage 2 high-risk cancer. They want me to do 6 months of chemotherapy now. I could die in the next month. I don't want to leave the world worse for my son. So if the question is, why am I doing this? That's it. Please answer the question, why did you hire somebody that's your relative and somebody that you work with, which you know is not legal to do, to contract? And why did you avoid, Tyler, why did you avoid getting RFPs on bids that are greater than the $44,000 threshold that you know you have to get bids on? And I can prove that you did because I have contracts that show that both services are included. People in this town are sending me stuff left and right. So I have them already. So admit it. You bid split, and you handed contracts to your friends. Thank you very much.
Mayor. Okay.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Duff.
With regards to the bid splitting, Sal was involved. Sal's our solicitor who was involved in the process and consulted throughout that. Sal, was that process up to your snuff? You just hit the red.
Sure,
Please,
yeah,
sorry.
absolutely. There's no bid splitting.
Thank you, solicitor. With that, is there any other comments, questions from the public? Please raise your hand. Mr. Duff, we really only recognize people once. If you can,
You just recognized him twice.
I know, but let's keep
Just
it going.
pointing that out for the record. I got to ask you, Tyler.
Sure, go ahead.
Did the township receive any quotes that were above $44,000 that included the TV, video services, along with the stage services?
You say that one more time, please.
Did the township receive any quotes that were above the $44,000 threshold that you would have had to seek an RFP for? Did the township receive any quotes, or the township's consultants receive any quotes that included all these services that were above $44,000, the video service and along with the stage service? And you got to answer this carefully, Tyler.
Yeah,
Did the township receive any quotes?
I'm well aware of what you're trying to do, so let me
I'm asking you an honest question.
If you'd give me an opportunity to answer, I'd be more than happy to. Thank you. So Sal was a part of the process the whole time. Sal is our solicitor. Everyone who was involved with the event consulted with Sal. The bid splitting you claim, there is proposals earlier on that include from other vendors that are extremely high, right, as we were working on the event, as the RAC was working on the event.
Do you mind stating the vendors?
The vendors are all the ones that we have, Starlight, Spellcasters, there's a couple of them. I don't have all of them with me, but I know there's an Oprah request for it.
But you do have quotes that are above the $44,000 threshold.
No, those are
correct?
proposals. Those are concept proposals. But let me explain what you're talking about at the bid threshold level, and Sal can put this in maybe layman's term. At the point where we made the decision, the resolutions, right, non-fair and open contracts, right, that we passed.
Two separate ones, correct?
Yes, there's two separate ones for that,
For
right?
the same event, correct?
Yeah, it's the same event. They're two different services. There was for the video service. If you would let me explain, I'd be able to do that. Thank you, Mr. Duff. So, for the video service, we attempted to get 3 quotes. Okay, there was a quote from, you have to bear with me, Katharina or something like that, something with a K. There was
Cathedral.
Cathedral. There was Waltronics.
By the way, Cathedral doesn't do video. I'm just letting you know that the quote was split from Spellcaster.
Duff, you're gonna have to sit down.
Yeah, my question is, did you receive quotes above the $44,000 threshold? Simple question. Yes or no? He's placating.
Mr. Duff, can you please be seated? Thank you. And then I'll answer. I'm more than happy to answer the question. I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you, Sal.
Well, you've interrupted him 3 times. Could you allow, your question has been answered. It's been duly noted on the record. It's been filmed by video. Your friend is filming me right now. Allow the gentleman to answer your question. Are you capable of doing that?
It's a yes or no question, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So you're saying it's not a yes or no question. Did the township receive bids above $44,000? That's a yes or no question.
No, it's not, Mr. Duff. You're making.
Okay, thank you. I have the bids, by the way.
You are making factual assumptions which are incorrect. Mr. Tyler has attempted to answer your question. It's not to your satisfaction because it doesn't
So,
fit your
so real
narrative.
quick, there were original bids above 44,000.
No one
That
has-
the same company
no.
literally split the bid, isn't
No,
that
Mr.
correct?
No, sir. No one has made that statement. You made that statement because it fits your narrative.
I have proof.
No one makes that. No one has made that statement. Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Burrell. I
I'll
would
finish
say,
my statement and then we'll move on.
Yeah, you can move.
Solicitor, thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
There was, so for the video, we attempted to get 3 quotes, right? There's 3 quotes got. One company could not meet the specs and sent a letter that meets the standards of the law, as advised by the solicitor. Then with respect to the stage/sound, there was 3 quotes attempted to be get for that. We went with the lowest, most responsible bidder in conjunction with Sal's counsel, non-fair and open contract, and then we met the ELEC requirement to disclose if there was any political contributions. That is the extent of how we got to that, the contract in question.
So, but there was contracts above that amount, correct?
No,
Yeah.
sir. No.
There was
one
no
has
quotes
made
above that amount.
Sir, no one has made that statement. You are making.
I-
Your question is assuming a fact which
Let-
is not true.
So, Sal, I'm just asking a
My name
simple
is not
yes or no
Sal.
question.
Sir, my name is Mr.
Mr.
Siciliano. You'll address me as such because I'm the township solicitor. We're not on
I
a
appreciate
first-name
that.
basis. I don't address you as Patrick, and I'm going to address you as Mr. Duff.
I really
You address me
appreciate
as
I really
Mr.
appreciate the
Siciliano
attitude, but
or
I'm
sir.
asking for a question.
No,
You're
sir.
a public representative.
Yes, I
You
am.
owe the public an answer.
Yes, sir, I am.
So
I'm a-
don't talk to me like you got an attitude,
I do have.
okay?
You can be quiet, sir.
You're a public representative, buddy.
Yes, I am.
You answer the question.
Your question is.
Did you receive a quote that's above $44,000 for the services? Is the question. Yes or no?
There's
All right,
not a yes or no.
Thank you very much.
It's not a yes or no
Thank
question.
you.
Not a yes or no question.
Thank you.
Any other statements, public comments? Last call. Mr. Bodnar, can you please make it quick?
I'm sorry, the only reason I'm doing this is because from what I've just heard here, everybody hear me out there?
Yes.
Okay, that must be better. Look, my question is what are the rules of council? I'm assuming what he's saying is that the mayor is associated with the $39,000 company and the $6,500 or whatever it was for the thing. Is council allowed to give contracts to people on council, including the mayor? I mean, is it okay?
No, Mr. Bob.
Can't hear.
The New Jersey local public contract laws, any public official is not permitted to have a direct financial benefit. That's defined by that individual, members of their household, and immediate family members. And that has not happened in this case at all. So to answer your question, remember, no, they are not allowed to do that, and that has not happened in this case.
That's all I wanted to know.
it's
Okay,
a simple
so
question.
as you're going through, as we're hearing all this, and I guess you're going to keep hearing this from Patrick all the time, maybe you want to get somebody involved to just look it over and say, is this okay or not? Did we do okay or not? Get Trenton involved or whatever. That's my suggestion, okay?
Thank you.
And I think something like that, like Tyler, if I was you, that's what I would do, okay? And just because you need to know, okay? Get somebody on the outside to at least look over whatever was done and let them say okay, because you don't need to go back and forth with what this number was, what that number was, and so on. Let somebody independent just come in and do a quick perusal of what's what. Because in the end, if the mayor is associated then with these companies, then that was wrong and shouldn't have been done. And then maybe you got to start thinking, well, maybe it was split to stay underneath that threshold. I'm not going to get into that anymore, but that's my 2 cents, okay?
Thank you, Mr.
Good
Bodnar.
luck to you all.
Thank you, sir.
Barb Littleton, 317 Delran. 317 Chestnut Street.
Can you state your name and address for the record one more time?
Barbara Littleton, 317 Chestnut Street in Delran.
Thanks.
So, if I hear you correctly, you did not get any bids. Did you get any proposals that included both before the Carly Lloyd event? So proposals for the stage and everything together.
For Carly Lloyd event,
Yes.
there was a bunch of quotes, proposals, back and forth as the RAC was working on the event to figure out what was in budget and what equipment was needed. There was quotes early on that had way too much to offer, 4 or 5, 6 screens when this was a concept. So there is stuff before. That's correct.
Okay. And can I get a rationale why we split it? And I know you're saying you didn't split it, and it could be completely honest and within the law that we split it for purposes for we were getting a cheaper bid for this from this company and a more expensive bid for this. But what's the rationale there?
We complied with the law. I mean, we got 3
Well,
quotes
that's
for
what I'm saying.
everything. I mean,
It's possible.
Under the connotation of bid splitting is a negative connotation. There was no bid splitting.
Well, and I don't mean to bring a negative light to it. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
I mean,
get information.
The bottom line here is it was in consultation with the solicitor Sal.
Right.
There's the bid threshold, and then if there's what is the non-fair and open contract, right? Everything was done with our solicitor's office to ensure that it complied with the law. These are lengthy laws, right? He's an expert in this. That's why we rely on him. I don't know every nuance of the law, neither does counsel here.
But
I mean,
I'm just
that's
trying
why we rely on the solicitor's
said.
office and the administration to make sure that we are complying with the bid law, the non-fair and open contract law, and all the appropriate requirements therein. Okay?
But so why didn't we do it all together? I guess is my question. Why didn't we put the bid out for all of it all together?
There was no bid put out. This was quoted under the bid threshold.
Because of how you did it, there was no bid. But why didn't we put a bid out? I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, Ms. Littleton, I mean, so, Ms. Littleton, so, again, there was no bid splitting. The reason that you sometimes receive information like this, if you have different companies providing different services, if the companies are headquartered in different states, they have different tax ID numbers or different vendor numbers, that's why you would see different amounts. There's different bid thresholds under the state statute, and depending on whether or not there's a qualified purchasing agent, which Delran Township does have a qualified purchasing agent, so there's variable bid thresholds with regard to those. But the only reason you would do that is if you have different companies providing different services, those companies have different tax ID numbers or different vendors or things like that.
So you're telling me none of those vendors that provided the services separately could have done it all together?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea whether they could have or not. I have no idea.
I think that's where we're coming from.
Yeah, no,
At
but
least
I,
me personally.
sure, no, I
That's
understand,
where
and that's a speculation. I don't answer speculation, rumors, innuendos,
But
hearsay. I mean,
as a council, I would have thought you're spending my tax dollars. I would have thought that you would have looked into that and said, hey, is there someone that can do all 3 of these things or 2 of these things all together?
and I think,
if there were, and it was over, their proposal was over
Right.
our threshold, then we should have gotten the bid process then.
Fair-
And I
fair-
think that's
no,
my personal.
absolutely a fair question, but economies of scale don't always happen, and sometimes there's different costs, because if that does happen in certain instances, there's certain built-in add-ons that aren't necessarily true if you get the bid separately. So that's a fair question.
And
It's
then
an
my
absolutely fair
last
question.
question is for the mayor. Do you have any relationship to the Go events through another company within this? Do you personally, or your wife, or business associate, anyone, have personal dealings with the company that they went with?
I am not in any way financially involved with that company.
And that's not going to be proven different.
No, Center Stage is a
So-
company that's listed
your
and
wife-
listed on my financial.
Your wife is not listed as a
No.
contact person for
No.
Center Stage.
If you're referring to my deceased sister-in-law, Donna, who died a year ago, no.
Okay.
She's not
I'm
my
just
wife.
asking the question.
Fortunately, my wife is alive and well. Thank you.
Okay. Sister-in-law, any family member. I'm not speaking just
With,
about your
but I
father.
don't work, I'm not an employee of that company. I am not a stakeholder in that company or any of these companies.
And none of your family members or associates, business partners are part of that.
I don't have business partners
Okay,
with that.
I don't know. I don't know your personal stuff.
I'm-
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Sure.
for your time. I
Thank
really
you. Appreciate
appreciate it.
you being respectful. Thank you very much.
My name is Scott Duco. I'm from 3 Glen Forest Road in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and I'm very concerned about what's going on here. And I would like to know if Mr. Cantrombone is related to a Frank Cantrombone from Go Events.
You have the Mayor.
Yes, that's my nephew.
So your nephew from Go Events, same address as Center Stage Entertainment, are connected.
When he was incorporating, I understand that from Mr. Duff's information.
So you understand
I have
that
no
from
connection
Mr.
with-
Duff's information.
I have
So
no connection with it.
So that's not a conflict of interest in the process of obtaining the bids and, no?
I'll ask the attorney.
No, there's no financial benefit.
There's no financial benefit.
There's no financial
Absolutely not.
benefit to Mayor Katrenbone. There's no financial benefit.
No financial benefit.
There's no financial benefit.
On the record, we're saying there's no financial
So
benefit
do you
to
have
the
any documents
Cantrobone
that can
family.
prove that the mayor benefited financially in any way?
I
If
will,
you-
re-
if
I
you
will
do,
leave
I
my,
mean, I would like-
I will leave my comment at that. Thank
No,
you,
no,
counsel.
sir, if you do, I'm happy to see them. I'd call the Burlington County prosecutors myself or the Attorney General's office. If you have any documents, provide them to me. If the
Thank
mayor
you, sir.
received any kind of direct financial benefit, please.
Thank
do
you,
that.
sir.
Listen, I want to make clear for everybody in the room, because there's a lot of speculation going on, right? I want to be clear. If there's any evidence of anything that's criminally wrong or ethically wrong, right? Council and anyone in this building should never be acceptable. I'm going to be clear about that, right? So if you have that information, as Sal mentioned, you should report it to the appropriate authorities, okay? But speculation, I can't live off of speculation. Nobody can, all right? But I want to be clear. We all here represent this township. We all deeply care about this township, every one of us up here, right? And I tell you, we were always going to protect the residents of Delran. We do this for the residents, okay? So if there is any allegations that you have anything that is concerning, I urge you to please contact the appropriate authorities, okay? We will, and please, I'm urging you to do that if that's what you have. I am not going to sit here and allow allegations that we can't police, that type of stuff. If you have it, please send it to the appropriate agency, and I'll wholeheartedly support you in that effort, right? I'm not here to silence any of those allegations. Please give it to somebody, the appropriate agency that would handle that thing, and we're always going to do what we can to protect the resident. So I'm not going to go. If you've already spoken, your time has expired, but the miss here in the red.
Hi, my name's Nicole Vandermark, and I live at 879 Lichtenthal Street. And I'm not sure of your name, so do not yell at me, please. But the gentleman on the end,
Ma'am, I don't
I'm like
yell.
trying to listen to the
No, that's
microphone.
okay. I don't yell at anyone. As the mayor stated earlier,
Okay.
he asked me to use an outside voice. So my last name is Siciliano. I'm the township solicitor.
Okay, so my question to you is, earlier, did you not say that hiring a relative was illegal?
No, I never made that statement. I never said that.
Did somebody make that here, or did I hear something?
I think Mr. Duff made that statement in his self-serving question. I never made that statement.
So it is legal to hire a relative? It's not?
In certain circumstances, the test is fine. No.
Careful.
No. I'm very careful, ma'am. Okay.
Me too.
The test, the statutory analysis is financial benefit. If there's a financial benefit, that's illegal. If there's no financial benefit, it's not illegal.
Okay, so he can hire relatives?
If there's no financial benefit.
Okay. I was just confused because I thought somebody said that you couldn't hire relatives,
I
and then he
never
said he
made-
was his nephew. And
I-
I was confused because I have a nephew and I think he's my relative. So I was a little confused by what was happening. It was just, my
Understood-
brother-in-law
understood.
is my relative.
No.
I'm
Understood.
confused.
Yeah, the statute talks about a direct financial benefit to an elected official or those in their household.
Okay. Mayor, are you not a DJ?
I am, thank you.
You are, right?
Yes.
With who?
Excuse me?
With who?
With who?
Company.
It's company's called Gary Catrombone Entertainment, LLC.
Okay. So everything that Mr. Duff has put on Facebook, all of the paperwork, all of everything that's been signed, all of the questions that have been put on the table, why hasn't anybody addressed them? Why haven't we heard from you as our mayor?
Well, you know, I think.
I mean, are we to assume that he's lying? Are we to assume that they're all fraudulent?
If you follow any of the
I have
residents,
followed all of it.
you follow all of it. So if I were to respond to every question or every accusation, why are they doing that? This is my tax dollars. You know, the reality is that we all pay the same taxes. And as a resident of over 40 years, I do the same thing. You know, this is something that if you spread enough stuff throughout your information, incorrect or not, it starts to look like, to the people who don't know the truth, that that's what's happening. I understand there is so much misinformation being distributed, it would be impossible for me to correct it.
I do. I understand that. I do. But sometimes silence is worse.
Violence.
Nothing has been said.
Fine, she said
I mean,
silence.
silence.
Whoa.
Silence is worse. Did you think I said violence? Oh,
I
geez.
thought you said violence. I'm sorry.
This is really getting crazy in here today.
Wow.
No, silence. I mean, nothing has been said. You're angry. You're mad.
Look, I'm smiling.
This one. Yeah, you're angry. And I get it. I get it. You know, you guys are being attacked. You don't like it. But look at it from our side. You know, you have to look at it from the resident side. We're seeing all of this stuff. We're reading all of these papers, and they look legal.
Mm-hmm.
They look legit. You're being questioned, and you're not really given straight answers. So I don't know what you think the residents are supposed to do. Are we just supposed to be quiet? Are we not supposed to ask questions? I mean, you want us to go to Trenton. Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Respectfully.
Respectful.
Listen, I appreciate the work that has been done, the effort to be involved. That's why I ran for office. That's why I ran for office, because I cared deeply about this community. I wholeheartedly say that from the bottom of my heart, right? And if there's something that was done wrong, right, then it needs to be reported to the appropriate authorities. Why would I hide that? I have no reason to hide that. Your questions about the mayor, I don't have the answers to that. I'm not a catch from bone, okay? I'm sorry, I can't provide answers to that. I hope you understand that.
I do understand that, and I do appreciate
and
that.
I'm not going to just make things up on the record, you know, to do that. So I can't provide those answers. It's up to the residents to decide if those answers are satisfactory. That's you can reach out to the mayor. But listen, if you have anything that's concerning, please report it. There's no reason to hide any of it.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any other public comments? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to close the floor. And a second.
I'll second.